Y Universal estrena también Boyhood, esta esperadísima película del director Richard Linklater. Y tuvimos nosotros la fortuna de entrevistar a los protagonistas, a su hija Lorelai Linklater y a el Uncle Charles. Vamos a ver qué nos platican ellos. Esto fue en el Festival de Los Cabos del año pasado. Vamos a ver la entrevista.
Amigos de Excelsior Televisión, estamos a punto de desmenuzar una película que llegará a partir de enero a todas las salas cinematográficas, dirigida por Richard Linklater, el mismo que nos diera una de las trilogías más hermosas que se han hecho a lo largo de los tiempos desde 1995 hasta el 2014. Y bueno, pues ahora nos presenta Boyhood. And please, well, it's a pleasure to have you here. Here is Kathleen Sutherland, producer, Lorelai Linklater, actress, and L.R. Coltrane, actor. Welcome. How do you feel here in Los Cabos?
It's beautiful. It's really great to be here. It's been a wonderful couple of days.
And Ilar, I was wondering, but also Lorelai, how did you get involved in this project, and how did you appreciate it at the beginning when you were 6 and you were a little bit older, and then, well, has spent 12 years. So how did you see it at the beginning, and nowadays, how do you see this picture?
I was 7, and I just went to an audition and met her dad, and I don't know, he chose me for some reason, and it was, I don't know, I mean, it's, the concept of 12 years is very abstract when you're 7, so it's you know, the way I saw the film was very different at that point, but I was at the beginning. Yeah, it was just, you know, it was fun. It was something fun to do, and the idea of something taking 12 years is, you know, you can't really comprehend that. So it, you know, it's, and just as far as the impact it could have, you know, how big of a part of my life it would be, it's, you don't really understand that. So, you know, looking back now, it's interesting to think, you know, how large of a part of my life it is, and how large of a part of me it is.
At the beginning of the film, I was very enthusiastic to be a part of the project. I thought it was great. I wanted to perform as much as I could in it. Towards the middle years, I was not as happy to be a part of it. It got, I don't know, awkward stages. Didn't necessarily want to be filmed during those years, but there wasn't a choice, so we stuck with it, and in the end I was very grateful.
And Kathleen, to the producer, I was wondering, how did you match, what was the format since the beginning, what was the format? 35 millimeters, because it's worked through 12 years, but also which are the risks to make this movie, because through 12 years can happen a lot of things, somebody, well, maybe an accident, maybe something else, so what is the risk?
Yeah, it's very odd. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of risk when you take on a long-term project. I mean, a lot of unknowns, but you know, odds were that nothing bad was gonna happen. I mean, so you're still taking, it's a leap of faith, and you're taking this gamble on it. But yeah, we shot every year, as you were saying, on 35 millimeter film, and the purpose of that was so that the whole project, because we were shooting for a few days every year over the course of time, so to keep everything seamless and to keep the look of the film flowing, and you know, that was the goal all along. It wasn't to make these, even though we were shooting separately, but it wasn't to make 12 separate films. It was to have everything look like one seamless, flowing story, which I think Richard and our editor, Sandra Adair, achieved very well. So.
And Lorelai, I remember one of the scenes when you are talking about sex with your dad, Ethan Hawke, in the movie. How awkward was this scene because of the talk, but also you were directed by your father? So
yeah, it looked pretty awkward, Lorelai.
It was. Everyone says that my acting in that scene was really authentic. And they're like, or I mean, like real. And they're like, wow, that just seems so genuine. You seem so real in that scene. And I'm like, well, it kind of was. Because, I mean, it was my dad filming it, and I had known Ethan. I mean, I've known Ethan all my life. And so addressing those kinds of subjects with him was, you know, just a little weird.
Sitting around.
Everyone's sitting around. Yeah, I mean, it was odd. I mean, it was an imaginary character we were talking about. Like, I didn't actually have a boyfriend named Garrett at that time. We made that part up, but I was definitely channeling real uncomfortability. It was awkward, but I mean, funny, I guess. I think people were entertained by it. So.
And
Yeah.
Pilar, finally, how would you invite Mexican people to watch Boyhood? And did you make a prophecy? Because I remember that you were talking with Ethan Hawke, and you say, do you think that the Star Wars have another another movie? And that really.
And now it is.
Yeah.
I know. It wasn't a joke, 7 years ago, but it's pretty funny now. But just how I think people should view the movie.
Yeah. And which is the best moment in the movie for you?
It all kind of builds up to the end for me. I think that's the best thing I can say. I mean, I think that is kind of how people inevitably end up watching it, but just to kind of let it pass over you, and because the narrative is very untraditional and different than a lot of movies, and it's a very kind of a cumulative effect, and so the most impactful moment for me is honestly when the credits roll, and it all kind of hits me. So just experience it.
Well, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. And now back to studio.